Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We are learning an Amud a day in Maseches Kiddushin. Today's Amud is Gimel Amud Beis and Yud Gimel Amud Beis. And although right now we're still at the very, very, very bottom of Gimel Amud Aleph, at the very bottom of Gimel Amud Aleph, but most of our Shiur Be'ezras Hashem will be at Gimel Amud Beis. And I want to welcome everybody here. Now, Shalom, everybody here in Havas Shalom, Koilel in Ramat Bet Shemesh Aleph, as well as our watchers, as our viewers in Torah Anytime and on YouTube. Yud Gimel Amud Aleph in the bottom of the page tells you how severe and horrible it is when people has v'shalom have relations with someone else's wife. And we said that that's even worse than Doha Mabul. Doha Mabul, as bad as they were, yeah, if the same averas repeat themselves today of znus, of being promiscuous, then it's worse because we have who to learn from. Yeah, we are the post-diluvian. We should have known better. And if people today, meaning in the times of Hoshea, as the pasuk which we learned yesterday, or any time in history, that creates terrible, terrible destruction. And even the fish in the sea are affected, while in the Mabul, the fish in the sea were not affected. That seems to be like the indicator. But the problem was that the pasuk there in the first wide line, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I'm just reading the pasuk again. The first widest line, it says, "Alo v'kachash." The pasuk in Hoshea describes many different averos, many different sins that they would be involved in, and it says, "Alo v'kachash." They would swear and lie, v'ratzoch v'ganov, and they would kill and steal. V'noif porotzu, and there would be noyef. They would be with other people's wives. Porotzu v'domim v'domim nago. And the words domim v'domim nago is that means that the blood's touch means it doesn't mean retzicha, it means niuf, meaning the pasuk, the end, the last avera mentioned in the pasuk is the avera of niuf, and domim v'domim, as we said later, means also niuf. Now, so we want to say that the reason why all the destruction happened is particularly because of the last avera mentioned, the avera of niuf. Let's now go to the last to second line, the penultimate. That's what's called in nice English for the others who didn't know. The ema, yeah, the end of the second to last line. Frekt the Gemore, the ema ad the ovid le kulhu. Maybe it's only Hashem will only bring such terrible destruction if people do all of them. That makes sense. If people are sunk that low and they swear and they lie and they steal and they kill and also niuf, that brings destruction. But maybe niuf alone is not enough of a reason to bring about such destruction. Maybe not. And says the Gemara, no, it does make sense. The Chtiv, it says in a different pasuk in Yirmiyahu, it says ki mipnei Allah of laha'oretz. Very similar words, but there it only mentions one avera. Because of Allah. Allah means what? Shvua. Yeah, Allah ula shvua. Allah is a shvua, right? Not Allah Akbar. That's something else. Yeah, ki mipnei Allah of the ha'oretz, which means the land is destroyed because of the Allah. So you see that even one of the many could cause, yeah, the destruction, and not only when they're all accumulative altogether, even one of the few can create the problem. Now, we can still ask a question. It doesn't show anything about niuf. That's true. But right now we know that you don't have to have all 5 or 6 averos in order to create the destruction. Even one of them is bad enough, which begs the question, okay? Maybe Allah, the Shavuos Sheker is terrible. That creates destruction. This destroys. And also all the other ones, yeah, right? Maybe all the other ones together, but not just niuf. And says the Gemara, no, michtiv upotzu. It doesn't say, what's the last one mentioned in the pasuk? Which of is mentioned last in the pasuk? Niuf, britzus, yeah, being lotzanua, being too friendly with your best friend's wife, kind of. It doesn't say, and they were poruts, and they were mezane. Right? So you can say you did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the last one, therefore it's a destruction. It doesn't say that. It says potzuksiv, which means what? They did A, B, C, D, they did each one, and then the last one, what's the last one that's mentioned in the pasuk right before describes the destruction in the next pasuk? Let's just recap. Let's just reorganize what's going on here. There are 6 averos mentioned in the pasuk. Last one is pritzus, and then right after that it says the land will be destroyed. Oh, and it doesn't say they did this and this and it and pritzus, and that's why the world will be destroyed. No, it says that they did this and that, and then it says potzu. Pritzus is the last one, crescendo, the climax, the worst one. It goes gradually, and because of that pritzus, it says that they will be destroyed. Look at Rashi. Allah lechud eksiv al kente obel. Rashi says, the second Rashi says, potuksiv umilsaba penafshi. Yeah, in other words, they did A, B, C, D. It doesn't end potsu. Potsu, it's like a new beginning. Oh, you're porut. You go to your friend's wife. You have relations. You have things. That alone is a separate statement because it doesn't say end. Yeah, even as it's a star in its own right. Without being connected to previous averos, it's a new thing as of itself. And right away it says, the next pasuk says, the Allah lechud aksiv, says Rashi, on that alone it says, al kenta ovel. So because Pritzis is mentioned as the last one, without being accumulative, without being connected to the previous averos, you see that alone can create the whole balagan. The world is destroyed just because of Niyuv. Also in Yirmiyahu it says very strong things about people are minafi. It's basically the worst aver in the Torah, when people have relations with other people's wives, and it creates destructions, creates massacres, chas v'sholom. Now we are back to the sugya. What are we learning right now? How did we come to all these different inyonim? We are now describing a certain event in the times of the Gemara, in which people, all the Amoraim, gathered after the ptira of Rav Asi, right? Rav Asi was nifter, and after his demise, the many different chachomim, they got together, they made an assembly, and they said, let's together, each person here in the room that remembers the statement Rav Asi made should say it, so should remember what Rav Asi said in an organized way. Now we come and we say a whole new halacha. Hadu Yasvi, they said again, later on they said again, they said more and more statements on behalf of Rav Asi. Be'ezras Hashem, we'll get it all clear. The Ka'amri, they say the following. Hodetnan. It says we're quoting a Mishnah and we're going to explain something regarding the Mishnah. Hodetnan. It says in the Mishnah. As an introduction, I want to remind everybody that when Mashiach comes very soon, Be'ezras Hashem, Beis Hamikdash will be up and erected, up and about. And the Beis Hamikdash, what will happen to a woman who gives birth? Either a boy or a girl, doesn't make a difference. After 40 days, yeah, for a boy, or 80 days for a girl, what does she bring? She brings a korban. What kind of korban does she bring? She has to bring oila and chatos. Not by this order, actually. She brings the chatos and then an oila. She brings the chatos, a bird for chatos, yeah, dove or turtle dove. And she brings an oila, she brings a sheep for an oila, male sheep, yeah. If she's not rich enough, she brings 2 birds. Chatos bird and oila bird. Yeah, you almost, except for Sira V'Dezora, you always bring chatos and then oila. Why? First of all, you have to actually bring the lawyer, it says, and then you bring a gift. First of all, yeah, you bring, something to atone for your sin, to say, I'm sorry, and then you give a gift. So now basically every woman who gave birth, most of them would bring 2 birds, by the way. I don't know, I guess most people are poor. So she would bring 2 birds, one for chatas and one for oila. Listen to the following case. It says in the Mishnah, Haisha Shavia Chatoso, Vemesa Oivavoy. She brought the chatos, yeah. The chatos was already brought to the Mizbeach, and then she died. Oops. So she has like an outstanding debt after her kira, after her death, she has a debt. And that is, now she still has to bring the oila. So do the children have to bring the oila? I know she will not bring the oila. I don't expect her to get out of her grave and bring the oila, but maybe the kinderlach, the zisa kinderlach, maybe the orphans are mechuyev to bring the korban. So let's see. It says in the Mishnah, Yaviu Yorshin also, yes they do. The Yorshim, they have to continue her legacy, and instead of her, they have to bring the oila. By the way, that's a chiddush, as Rashi points out. I'm going to elaborate a bit more. If it would be the other way around, yeah, if it was chatas, if she died and she didn't yet bring the chatas, then the chatas korban is going to die. Yeah, one of the 5 chatos, they have to die, not in a very nice way. You put them keep in a closed room and they naturally die. It's a person who died and left behind the chatas. But that's not the case over here. Here the chatas was brought. I'm very happy for this chatas. It doesn't have to starve to death. the chatas was brought, all very nice. Now the oila, although the woman, the owner of the korban, is dead, the oila can be brought and should be brought by the children, by the surviving children or other relatives, whoever yarshans her, whoever the heirs are, they have to bring the oila. Okay, Amar Vida Amar Shmuel. Here comes a big, big, big machloikes, which affects a lot of halachis in Chosh and Mishpat. Amar Vida Amar Shmuel. V'hushef Rishosem Mechaim. I'm making a big qualification here, and I say, says Rabbi Amar Shmuel. Remember the name Shmuel. We have to remember that here. It's only true if she was mafrish, if she separated it already, she consecrated it, she separated it already when she was alive. In other words, there's a real, actual oilo jumping and frolicking in her backyard, already next to her in Beis HaMikdash. That oilo is there. That oilo, a real live animal, mukdash for oilo, has to now be brought. Yeah, put it on the back of your pickup truck. Yeah, and take it to Yerushalayim to be brought on her own to continue the korban of the dead person. Oh, here comes the big chiddush. If the woman was not mafrish, she did not actually separate and designate an animal when she was alive, then they are not chayav to buy an animal and makdish and makriv. Why would have I thought that they do? Here comes a whole new story. Because, yeah, actually, I'll read it first inside and then I'll explain. Alma, that is to say, Tesavar shibudo lavdo raisa. Welcome to, okay, it's not so new because we saw it before. It's a whole old new topic. Everybody knows about the concept called shibud. Nobody in this room is going to ask me the question, what is shibud? In case one of our 100 million thousand viewers online don't know what shibud is, then what shibud means, yeah, it's a mortgage, commitment. Shibud means when one owes money to his friend, yeah. If I owe, Khalila, 1,000,000 shekel to someone, then what? I owe 1,000,000 shekel to the bank, yeah, possibly I do. Then what? Then the apartment is meshubad, the apartment is mortgaged, yeah. That's how shibud works. In other words, I have a financial commitment towards someone. Automatically, the person's usually it's karka, not metaltalin. The karka, the nadlan, yeah, the items that are the land, pieces of land. Those things, the real estate, are meshubad, and if I don't pay, then I'm gonna have to. He's gonna take my house. Yeah, Khalila, the person would have to take the house, the field. Now, when a woman gave birth, yeah, this is not voluntary. This is not a woman who's bringing a korban to Beis HaMikdash like a korban oilo because out of goodwill, because she feels so spiritual, because she got this uplifting email today that shows her that the sun and the moon are smiling. That's what she wants to bring a korban. No. She has to bring a korban. The Torah says, lady, you gave birth, yeah, and giving birth has its tuma side, and giving birth, we assume she didn't want to have children anymore because it was so painful, and therefore she has to bring a korban. Therefore, and that's a financial chiyuv. It's a financial debt, not to Reuven and Shimon, which is normally the shibud we know from all the bavos we learned. It's a shibud to Hashem. She's meshubad, and where is the star in the Torah? The Torah says, lady, you owe money to Hashem. What's this money? Don't give him gold, don't give him gifts or diamonds. You now have to give Hashem, whether you like it or not. You have to give a Kadosh Baruch Hu two birdies. You have to bring korban, chatas, and oila. You brought chatas. That's very nice. The dead people have commitments. Yeah. Let's say somebody owes his friend money after the death. Sometimes the children have to pay. We're going to discuss it now. Here, what do we say? That although that woman, I dare say, even if this woman has a field, and that field was inherited by her children, Avram, Yitzchak, and Shlomo, her children, they inherited their field. Now they don't have to sell part of the field in order to buy the korban. Although, yeah, she has a shibud, really, the shibud is lav de oraisa, which means, unless, listen to me carefully, and this is very, very important. Shibud means commitment, mortgage. Now, what does shibud mean? Subjugation also shibud means. If I owe somebody money, right, and I borrowed from you the humble amount of, 3 million shekels, right, and I wrote my apartment in Nachal Absor 15, is meshubad to what? To you. Of course there's shibud. Yeah, because, as I like to say as a joke, two adults consenting. Choshen Mishpat is all about agreements. If you and I have an agreement, you lent me money and I mishabed my land, of course the shibud applies. The question we have over here is shibudim that are automatic. Here, she didn't write any shtar to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? We claim to say that her land is meshubed automatically. Inadvertently, the shibud just happens. That, says Shmuel, is wrong. Says Shmuel, no. The concept of shibud happening automatically without shtar is not from the Torah. It's something that Chazal instituted, as we'll see later on, or it's something between people. But the concept of shibud, in other words, a woman owes money from the Torah, but to Hashem. It's very d'oraisa that she owes the money. However, the shibud, the fact that it affects her goods, her land, her apartment, her field, that is not from the Torah. And therefore the children say, listen, we are not Teyoledis. We didn't give birth, yeah? We are not her, right? Elamai, you pointing at the field is not meshubad. Yeah, the field is not meshubad. There's no star written. You want to tell me the Torah imposes an automatic shibud? Uh-oh. Says Shmuel, I don't believe in that. The concept of shibud is never written in the Torah. That's opinion number one. And we're going to explain it and understand more as we go along. Omar Rav Asi, hey, he's the star of the show. We have to have Rav Asi in the sugya because the whole point is to teach us different ideas. Or Rav Asi taught us in halachas. Omar Rav Asi, Omar Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Asi quoting Rabbi Yochanan to disagree, and he says, "Afal gav shelo hifrisha mechaim." Uh-oh. When the Mishnah says that the children have to bring the korban, it means even if there is no korban, she brought what? She brought the chatas. She now owes oila, right? Chatas they don't have to bring. Should bring, that's we discussed, that's different. Chatas Shemesa is a different story. But a regular korban, such as oila, which wasn't brought by her, even though there is no oila anywhere, they have to sell their piece of land, or maybe 1 meter over meter. They have to sell some of the land in order to buy the korban because they are committed. Why are they committed? Alma kasavar. That is to say, we see from here that Rav Asi and Rabbi Yochanan think shibud hava de oraisa. The concept of shibud, automatic shibud, without me or you doing anything. When the Torah prescribes a chov, there's an automatic shibud already, midoraisa. Now, one more nafkamina, shibud is doraisa. Once a person is committed to, he owes money or korban to Hashem, the shibud is there, whether you like it or not. And therefore, now the land is meshubat to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you, dear children, are the owners of a mortgaged place. If you bought the soda which is mortgaged, you got to pay the bank, right? You didn't know about it? Tough. That's the thing. Now, one huge nafkamina would be mil v'bal peh. Now, let's go down. There's no Beis HaMikdash, sadly so, but that will affect us, Maker, in 2023. Let's say there was a mil v'bal peh, and actually we're going to see that soon. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say it because the Gemara is going to say it itself. There's no reason for me to jump the gun. The Gemara is going to say. But up 1 second, I just want to explain one thing. The Gemara in Bava Basra, it's towards the end of the Masechta. The Gemara says, where's the source in the Torah? Rashi says, where's the source in the Torah that shibud is doraisa? When we learned at the end of Bava Metzia, the whole concept of mashkoin, right? Avoid, right? A man, somebody owes you money, so now he should take out to you the items. Who says items are meshubad? Oh, you see from here, shibud is doraisa. In other words, man domer shibud doraisa believes that when the Torah gives you the whole story of somebody owing money and paying instead of cash, he pays you or gives you, not pays, or is giving as a collateral which you own, according to Rabbi Yitzchak, right? And that is that's doraisa. That's shibud doraisa. The one who says shibud lav doraisa says that it's not something that happened automatically. It only happened if he didn't pay, then I took it from me for my own will. But it's not automatic. But in any event, we have a machloekes. Shibud doraisa or not doraisa? Is shibud something that automatically imposed on the assets of a person who owes money from the Torah or not? To understand it better, we're going to see the question of the Gemara and the answer. Fragt the Gemara, why do they have to argue about it? They already argued about it one time. In other words, that argument between Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel and Rav Asi Omer Rabbi Yochanan was already expressed in a different place. Why do the Heilig Amoraim have to repeat the same thing twice? They already argued once, They already argued in Bava Basra. They already argued about the same thing if shibud is daisa d'Rabbanan. And now we're going to see more practical stuff. The Rav Shmuel Damit Ravayu. Rav and Shmuel both say, milve alpe, oh, as I started to tell you. Let's say a person is, had milve, alone, yedet, balpe. Balpe, no star written. That's the way they both agreed. There are edim, hopefully, but there's no star written. Ein a goyve min a yoshin, lo min a lakuchos. Now you can't take that. Let's say the person died, or the person sold his fields, right? Then you, the one whose debt wasn't yet paid, you knock on the door. You now are owed money. Payday, pay time, yeah? And the person, the borrower doesn't pay anything. The borrower tells you, go to my lakuchos. I sold my fields. I sold my even fields. I sold it to other people. Yeah, or I died. Well, he doesn't tell him I died. They tell him father died. Now we are the owners of the field. In other words, the field is now owned by who? Other people, either our customers or the heirs, the children. So sorry, you can't be goive. You can't be goive. Why? Because shibud is not minatorah. If I didn't write shtar, that means to say I'm not willingly mishubad, right? Shtar is shibud. That we all know. If somebody writes shtar, that is automatically shtar shibud. Achrayis to soifer, right? The Gemara in B'Metzia Daf Yudaled, Amud Aleph, Shet Shmuel. Once there's a shtar, there's shibud because we agreed. There's two adults. But if no shibud was written, the Torah, no. The Torah doesn't say that if I didn't commit myself to shibud, my nechosim are not meshubad, my assets are not meshubad. If it's me, I have to pay you. It's my choves gavra. I have to put on tefillin today. You can't put tefillin for me, so I have to pay my debt. My customers, my children, after my death, they don't have to pay. The field is not meshubad because there's no written commitment by me. That's the opinion of Shmuel, and it's exactly what Shmuel said over here. He just that over here said it about the korban. Here he says about the debt between Reuben and Shimon. Rabbi Yochanan v'Reish Lakish. Remember that Ravasi quoted Rabbi Yochanan. It's exactly the same Rabbi Yochanan who's standing on the other side of the coin and says, the Amit Ravayu, they both say, Milve alpe, goyve ben men yoshin, ben men lakuchos. Oh, they say no. Milve alpe, although it's milve ba'alpe, which means when borrower borrowed from lender, he did not commit himself. He did not create shibud. He did not create commitment or mortgage or call it whatever you want. But if he sold it on, or kol sheken, says Rashi, he bequeathed it to his children, it's meshubad. And the malveh will knock on the door and will take it. Nobody's asking you, mister, if you want to be meshubad or not. The Torah did it automatically. The Torah created that automatically. The Torah says if you have a choiv, there's a shibud. So that's even Baal Peh. You're not mishtabed? Who says I was mishtabed to put in tefillin? Thank you. Hashem told me to. Nobody's asking you. So too, you're nechosim meshubed, whether you like it or not. It's a Torah's automatic response to the situation. Now, but the question is, why do they have to repeat the same thing twice? It's two different mechloikasim, but they stem from the same idea. This is about this one of Kamina is a woman after birth, and this is about a guy owing money to his friend. Yeah, none of them are pleasant. Owing money to friends is not pleasant. A woman right after birth is not pleasant either. So, Lamaisa, both things are what? Why do you have to repeat the same thing twice? Answers the Gemara, tzricha. Yes, they had to repeat and say and show you both applications of the same mechloikis. Farvos. Why is that? The i'itmar beho. Had you only told me about one person owing his friend, and then he sold on, or then he died, and what happened later? Do you or don't you take the field from the customers or the children? I would have said, Behach almost Shmuel, mishum deloy mil v'ksuva b'toirohi. When we talk about, I would call it secular debts, it's not written in the Torah, yeah, that the person has to lend money or give back money. It is says you have to give back money, but the actual loan is not something that the Torah told you to do. You chose to, you created it. You borrowed money. You created the choiv in yourself. I now owe $1,000,000 not because the Torah told me to owe, because I said I borrowed and I owe. And therefore, I would have said, when it's between two people on a secular level, business level, as I said about, I think without exaggeration, over 100 times in this year, everything in Choshen Mishpat is flexible. And therefore, I would say, listen, your choice, of milveh, baal peh, then what? It's your choice, your life. Then Mimela, the Torah says, do what you want. I'm not interfering. And there is no shibud. Shmuel says there's no shibud. And yes, and therefore the Baal Choiv, the lender, cannot take the field from other people. Aval behach, but this is, says Rashi, mitzvahs hamelech, choiva mes hamelech. The king, Hashem, told her to give him money. Ema, I would have said, I would have thought, unless I would have seen it black and white, I would have said, wait, maybe when Hashem told a woman, Be'atzmoi, in the Torah, at the beginning of Parshas Tazria, a few psukim to the Parsha, it says, lady, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling you to give him korbanos. That's kind of more serious. Maybe in this case, I would have thought that even Shmuel, the lenient, would have said that the shibud is there, and she has to pay from the land, and the children, and maybe even Lakuchas may have to pay from her land. It's Meshubad. That's what I would have said. Kamash Malan, we don't. Kamash Malan comes, therefore we have to say no. That Shmuel sticks to his guns and says no. We never believe in Shibud Doraisa, whether it's Ben Adam L'Chavero or Ben Adam L'Mokoim. I would have said a bit naughtily, I would say, where is the shtar? In the Torah. Shmuel believes, right, it's Milva B'shtar, right? Rashi says, Kiksuva B'shtar. Where is the shtar? In Chumash Vayikra. That's where it says that she owes the money. So it's like Milva B'shtar, which she has to pay. Kamash Malan, we don't say that. And Shmuel believes, no. Unless you specifically wrote it down yourself, Shibud is not an automatic thing. Now, V'yashmin and Beho. Now, the clear other side is very clear now. V'yashmin and Beho. Let's say the Machlokes would have only been mentioned where? In the story of the Korbanos, yeah? In Korbanos, I would have said, Beho Kamar B'yochanan, the Milva Ksuva B'toiro, Kiksuva B'shtar Damya. Oh, you see, I told you. Rabbi Yochanan, if the Machlokes would have only been expressed regarding a woman after birth giving Korbanos, I would have said, yes, and Milva that's written in the Torah is like written in a shtar. The Melech wrote, you owe me money. Nobody's asking you. I would have said, oh, maybe there Rabbi Yochanan is machmir and says that Milva Haksuva B'Torah is what? Is Shibud. Shibud is right there automatically. Aval Behach, but when it comes between two people, Stam, Reuven and Shimon, doing their own business, maybe he would have agreed to Shmuel that really, no, really, there is no Shibud. No Shibud. Sricha, that's all we need both. If anybody is curious to know what's the halacha, the Gemara tells you what's the halacha. The Gemara is telling us exactly what the halacha is, and I even checked it in Shulchan Aruch for you nice people. Omar Rav Pope, final solution. Omar Rav Pope, the conclusion. Omar Rav Pope, hilchesa, ma alohe, hilchesa, milve al pe, goive min hayorshin, very interesting. The practical question was, if somebody lent money to someone Balpeh without a shtar, meaning there was no personalized local commitment of shibud here, we're asking, is there an automatic shibud imposed by the Torah right away? It seems to be, very funnily, halfway. We say like this, from the Yorshim, you do take it. Yeah, the person who owes you money died. He died. You're very sorry for two reasons. You're sorry that he died, and what are you going to do with your money now? You can go to his Yorshim after the Shiva. Maybe you can wait after the Shiva. Yeah, wait after the Shiva, be tactful. The 8th day, you knock on the door and say, your land is mine, and you'll be right. However, that's very strange. When it comes to Lakuchos, if he's alive and kicking and telling you, oh, I'm so sorry, yeah, you can go to the Lakuchos. No, I can't pay you. I don't have cash. I don't have mitaltel. Any are not meshubed. But you can go to my customer. No, when it comes to customers, you cannot go to his customers by miva about pay. And it begs the question why. And even that the Gemara tells us. The Gemara today is very spoiling. The Gemara is telling us everything. That's first. The reason why a man who's owed money by someone can go to the children of that Baal Choiv is obviously Shibud Oraisa, even though it was Baal Peh. Even though it was Baal Peh. I just want to stress before we finish. Milve B'shtar, no question, children, Lakuchas, grandma, outer space. Wherever the land ended up belonging to, yeah, whoever, Milve B'shtar, shtar is strong. Whenever you borrow and money, it has to be with a shtar. That's halacha, by the way. You have to have a shtar. The shtar always grants you personal shibud. You created shibud, it's your right. The only question is, and then you go to the children, to the lukuchas, whoever you want. Here we're discussing a person who, for whichever reason, borrowed without a shtar. So to the children, he can go to their piece of land even without a shtar. Why? Shibud oraisa. That's what we say. In other words, we paskin here shibud deoraisa like Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan says that Filu shibud is deoraisa. Yeah, interesting. Not like Shmuel, not like Rabbi Shmuel, like Rabbi Yochanan shibud deoraisa. So the kinderlach, the Yesoimim, have to give. It's not them that they have to give, by the way. It's not their money. And metaltalin, they don't have to give, but the land is meshubad. The land is meshubad, even without you writing anything. Who says the land is meshubad? Somebody called the Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Torah says shibud oraisa. So the lekuchos. Hey, so why the lekuchos not the same? Excuse me, same thing. So if this field is so meshubad and Hashem decided it's meshubad, why is it if somebody bought it, then I'm not going from him? Where's the justice? The ene government lekuchos. The leis kala. Oh, we all know about that. I want to read this Rashi, short and very sweet, and extremely important Rashi, with the English word that you taught me, due diligence. Rashi is very close, just 3 lines above from where we are. The leis kala. What does leis kala mean? There's no call. We all know, because we've seen it many times, that, what did we see? The milva baal peh, not everybody knows about. Milva baal peh, between you and me, I go to the corner of the koilel, I lend someone 3 million shekels, beni ben chomahi. If there's nothing written, it's less famous, less well known. I'm just translating. If it's milva with a shtar, normal shtar, I don't know about today, it's not always done that way. The shtar that the Gemara has in mind is written in BSD, with Adim, with 2 Adim, people know about it. The Adim come home, and the wife asks them, no, what did you do today? I signed the shtar. You signed the shtar? Oh, shtar. Which shtar? 3 million? Oh, no, whatever. And she's going to tell her friend and WhatsApp her. Everybody's going to know about what? Milva b'shtar. That's the fact. So what? Now we're ripe enough to read Rashi. And that will be the end of the sugya. Rashi, the leis lekolo. In other words, when you borrow something without a shtar, you should be no, excuse me. When you lend somebody money without a shtar, it's your, I would say, foolishness. You did it baal peh. Says Rashi, you caused yourself a loss. Yeah, because now you're going to lose your karka. What do you mean? Says Rashi, I didn't lose anything. I thought halacha shibud d'oraisa. So even though nothing is written, the Torah says that the shibud applies, and therefore we should take the field from the customer, from the buyer. Says the Gemara, no. We are representing all the side. I don't know if you notice, all the time I'm being very unfair here. I'm representing all the time the side of who? Who's the one who's owed money, right? What about the poor man who bought the field? The lokeach. We want to take the field. The lender wants to take the field from the buyer, the customer. The customer bought a field. He did his due diligence. He's a good boy. He's a very nice American guy. He just made aliyah. He's very mesuder. He's from Switzerland. He does everything right. However, if that milva has no call, no voice, no rumor, nobody knows about it, how is he supposed to know? Is he a novi, a prophet? Yeah, is he telepathy powers? No. And because Lamais in the practical level, poor Lokeach had no way to know that what he's buying is mortgage midoraisa, because the mortgage wasn't written anywhere. It's a mitzvah Hashem. It's something so up and above. Nothing written, nothing known. I'd expect him to know. You really expect people to have somebody knocking on the door and says, your field is mortgaged? I would have known about it, yeah? And therefore, Rabbanon made it a takana midarabbanon, that if you bought a field which is Baal Peh, yeah, which is meshubed with the Torah, but there was only Baal Peh, nothing written about it, there's no way for you to know. We're men. And therefore, we sympathize with you, we understand you, who's we, Rabbanon, and we say to the guy who bought the field, you stay with the field, and the Malva loses. Why should the Malva lose? Because the Malva was, he doesn't allow me to say the S word, the Malva was a fool, the Malva was unwise. Why did you lend without the shtar? You should have lent with the shtar. It was in your hands. Yeah, you should have insisted. I'm insisting on the shtar. Otherwise, I'm not Malva. You had the 3 million in your hands. Why did you give up to his shtuyot? You should have said, I'm not releasing one dime until you write the shtar that you owe me. And then everything will be good. Everyone will be happy. Because everyone knows and everyone agrees when it comes to milva b'shtar, of course there's shibud. It's a written shibud. Yeah, choshen mishpat. And therefore it's all very good. Halacha lemaisa. I checked it again and actually said it to you a few times. I just enjoyed because it's the first time I think that I saw in Shulchan Aruch written all in one go. Every time I saw bits and pieces. What about a father who died and left behind a debt? So, halacha lemaisa, as we see over here. And milva b'shtar, of course they have to pay. Even milva be'al peh, and that's a chiddush, but that's what you're saying now. Milva be'al peh, oh, the Yorshim didn't spend a dime on it. The Yorshim is supposed to look at the Yorshim. Maybe they didn't know that the father was a Baal Choiv, owed money. Maybe they didn't know that the Torah placed the shibud on the fields. Yes, they didn't know, but it's not, they didn't spend money on it. Yeah, as the famous Pasuk says, easy come, easy go. You got it by nothing. Yeah, you were sitting next to your father's hospital bed. He closed his eyes. You now became millionaires and you had fields. You didn't work for it. So what? Then we leave the din d'oraisa. The din d'oraisa remains that the land is meshubad, even though it's balpeh, and you guys will have to say goodbye to the field and give it. Very logical to who? To the lender. Now that's only when they have what? Karka, because karka is meshubad. Metaltalin are not meshubad. Mobile things are not meshubad because this is something that even Minotoyo is not meshubad. I mean, except for the ovoid which he knew about. But in this case, the what's his name, the lender knew that he can't rely on the metaltalim of the loive because he can sell them, destroy them, burn them, give them matana. Mobiles, kishmoy kenhu, yeah, they're here today, gone tomorrow, right? So he never had it in mind. So if the Yorshim have a karka, the karka is meshubad even b'mila balpeh. If it's metaltalim, they're not meshubad. Says now, what about if now there's still a mitzvah though? There's a mitzvah on them. It's sad kibud aim to give back, even though, yeah, even if it's only metaltalin, they have a mitzvah not from their own money. If they inherited metaltalin, they inherited 5,000 fancy shoes. You had the father who died, the Balchoiv had a very nice shoe factory. They now own 5,000 very fancy pairs of shoes, let's say. Do they have to give it? No, no. They're not mechuyev b'din choiv, but because of the mitzvah of kibud avreim, not nice that the father is dead and leaving debts behind. Not a good name for the family. And you have to respect your father even after his death and the mother. Therefore, mitzad kibud avreim, you give it. They do have to give it. However, there's a big difference. What's the difference? The difference is, if there's a chiyuv of choshen mishpat, mamish chiyuv, like by the land, then Beis Din force them. Beis Din may hit them, may excommunicate until they give the money. If it's only mitzvah of kibbud avreim, the Beis Din don't force it. Why? Because on a mitzvah that Hashem gives you sachar in the Torah, you should know that's the rule. A mitzvah that Hashem says, leman yarichun yamecho, Hashem says, what's the reward for keeping kibbud avreim? You're going to have long life. And therefore what? If Hashem gives you the sachar, then Beis Din don't interfere. Beis Din don't force people to respect their parents. Yeah, okay. You see a teenager mechutzav to his parents, which never ever happens. I'm saying, if I don't know, 1 in a million years, you see a teenager who does what am I saying nonsense? Yeah, I don't know, who is not super nice to his parents. You can't call Beis Din to force him to be nice because that's between him and Hashem. Now, thirdly and finally, this is all in the Gemara, but there's a post Talmudic takana. After the Gemara is written, came the Geonim. The Geonim made a takana that kinderlach, the orphans, the heirs, always have to pay the debt of the father, not from their own money, but in their own money, I'm not sure, I don't think so, but any asset of the father, they have to pay, and it's a chiyuv and you force it. I don't know much about it, I haven't seen it in other sources, but a social Chanoch mentioned it more than once, more than twice. Okay? Ad kan, this Inyan. If there are quick questions, I'm happy because now we're going to completely different Inyan. And now basically we've seen all the different sugyas that they learned after the Ptira of Rav Asi, and I need to have my tea. You're welcome to ask or not ask. Both are good options. Bekoina es atzma beget. Yes. 2 more seconds until, yeah. Two dots. Oi, I was on low volume. Bekoina es atzma beget u'b'misa saba'al. Oh, we're nearing, by the way, soon, in 1 more page, we're going to hit the next Mishnah. Now we're towards the end of the Mishnah. How does a woman get herself back, acquire herself back to herself, and now she can marry whoever she wants? In 2 ways, beget ubemisa sabal, get, and the death of the hubby. Frek the Gemara, bishlam get, dichsi v'kosav lo sefer Christus. That's very easy. Get is outright mefurish in the Torah. He writes to her a book, a sefer, a shtar of severance, of severing, I meant to say, and it's severed and it's cut and it's all nice, and that's the way she goes out. El misa sabal minolan. How do you know that a woman whose husband died, how do you know that she can now marry whoever she wants? Answers the Gemara, what everybody else is thinking now. Svaru, what do you mean? I don't need the Torah to tell me that. It's simple logic. Svaru, who also, who shoto. In other words, he's the one, his life, he's being alive, and her husband is what forbade her from marrying anybody else. So now his death stops that prohibition. The barrier is now open. That's it, is up. Frag the Gemara, and here we're going to start a whole labyrinth over here, which makes it absolutely not simple at all. The svor, which we all think is so simple, once husband dead, it's all over. Bechlal, not simple at all. Frag the Gemara, the arayas, the osar lehu, v'lo shari lehu. Many of the people that are related to you, you're not allowed to have relations with them, let alone marry them, are arayas through marriage, which means your mother, you're not allowed to marry your mother because she is your mother. She physically gave birth to you. It has nothing to do with marriage, even if she wasn't married to anybody at the time, let's say. However, let's say you are 40 years old and your father is now marrying a second wife. And you know what? She is more or less your age. And the father died, yeah? You're not allowed to marry your father's wife, second wife, not your mother. No blood relation. Yeah, you're not allowed to marry your father's, before the Torah, your father's wife. Now the father died. No, can you marry your father's second wife? She's your age and she's nice. No. Isur Doraisa, the same Isur exactly. So you see that sometimes the reason why she was also on you is because she was married to the father. Yet her previous marriage to your now dead father still affects you and her, and you can't marry her. So you see, it's not simple at all. You see that the presence of a person in his marriage applies even after his death. So how do you automatically know? Maybe the same applies to every woman. How do you know otherwise? Who told you? Maybe every woman is also forever, even as an almana. Why? Almana cannot marry because she was married to someone. So that someone made her also in the entire world. The entire world are also to her. Now we're going to suggest all kinds of ideas. Maybe something's coming to your mind, different psukim in the Torah, and we're going to see it all. We're a little bit pressed for time. Ella, says Gemara, that's the reason. The Torah says, listen to this, Yavama. What does it say about Yavama? Yavama she'en labonim asura. A Yavama that has no children, right? Okay, Yavama has no children. Who is she supposed to marry? Only the brother-in-law, one of the brothers-in-law, and nobody else. She's not allowed to marry other people. She's Yavama lashuk, shomeres yavam. She has zika. She can't just go marry. She has to do either chalitza or yibum. That is to say, let's infer from here, hayesh labonim muteres. So if she has children, automatically means she is allowed to. So you see, if she has kinderlach, even one son or one daughter, or even pregnant, so he left behind name to himself, the dead husband, then she's allowed to marry. So you see, the Torah allows an almana to marry whoever she wants, right? That alone shows you that. No, both of them. But Dilma, it's not so automatically inferred from it. I could actually make the opposite inference. Maybe if she has no children, she's not allowed to marry anybody because she's supposed to continue the name of the family. She's only allowed to marry the Yobam, her brother-in-law. But maybe if she has children, she's not allowed to marry anybody, including the brother-in-law. In other words, it makes a lot of sense. If she has children, maybe I'm right. We're now presenting a crazy yet very logical havamina. Leave behind everything you knew all your life since you're zero. We're now seriously suggesting every almana is also, and we're trying to find a proof. Just be logical. What are we saying? Yavama? No. Maybe Yavama cannot marry anybody. I would say she should marry the brother-in-law. Forget. Only in case where she has no children, he has no children, and therefore the name of the dead guy, he fell in Gaza, lo aleinu, 21 years old, and he didn't leave behind children. Therefore, there's a special exception, dispensation exception, and we say, okay, she should marry the brother-in-law to keep the name of the family of the brother. But otherwise, maybe she can't marry anybody else at all. If she has children, maybe she's also to the whole world. He didn't prove anything. Ella, we're trying to say something else. We're trying to prove another point. Mida Omar Rachmona, the Torah says, Almona l'kohen gadol asura. Says outright, black and white in the Torah. A kohen gadol is opposed to a kohen hediot. Besides all the other women that every kohen can't marry, for example, Rusha, Chalala, Zoina, Midoraisa Chalutza, a kohen gadol is a mefurish lav. Yeah? Almana, he's not allowed to marry an almana. Before I saw in the Torah, it says a kohen gadol cannot marry a widow. A kohen gadol cannot marry a widow. Hala Kohen Hedyot, by regular Kohen Hedyot, Sharia, which means a Kohen Hedyot, let alone Israelim, us regular folk Israelim, we can marry. If the Torah says, yeah, imagine yourself, the Torah saying, the Kohen Gadol is not allowed to eat chazir. Mashma, everybody else is allowed to, right? Unless there's another source. So here you're telling the Kohen Gadol, oh, he's the highest of the highest, he cannot marry Almana. Mashma, everybody else may marry as many Almanas as they feel like. The Dilma, correct the Gemara, and now we come to an interesting concept. The Dilma maybe you should interpret it differently. Maybe make a different inference. The Kohen Gadol belav, lekul alma be'aseh. Very interesting. Maybe a Kohen Gadol, maybe really nobody is allowed to marry Almana. Soon we're going to see exactly how it's defined. A Kohen Gadol has a stronger kind of Isser lav. It says mefurish Almana lo yikach. He cannot marry Almana is a lav d'oraisa, and if he marries her, lashes. Yeah, he's not allowed to marry the Almana. But other people are not allowed to marry Almana, but they're only breaking in a say. Which mitzvah says is there? Maybe a person who marries an Almana, in other words, now the Torah changing gears, the Gemara changing gears a little bit. Nobody wants to say that if the husband is dead, Almana, yeah, then if you have relations with her or you marry her, you're over the same level of Isser, Kores, Chenek, terrible, Mamzerim. Nobody says that, but maybe there's still a mitzvah aseh that you broke. Which mitzvah says is there an Almana? Three options, three Rishonim. Rashi says, very interesting, it says that, why is there an aseh? Rashi says, v'yotzavoy acher. It says, what's the way of a woman to yes become mutter? By get. So the only way yes to become mutter is get. That woman who became not married, not through a get, you're not mekayim the asay keilu of marrying a grusha. Meaning, yes, grusha, nobody else, other people know. Like by ribis. It says, give money by ribis to a goy. According to most Rishonim, there's no mitzvah to give a goy. It means to say, give a goy, meaning that if you lent beyid beribis, you're over an asay, the mitzvah to say of yes, give a goy. You get that? Many times the Torah tells you, asay lo ta'aseh, to tell you if you did that, if you actually did that, you're not mekayim and asay. Now Tosfos doesn't get. Tosfos says something else, simpler. Tosfos says it says already by Odom Arishon, v'dovak be'ishtoi v'lo be'eshes chaveroi. We know that about goyim. How come goyim are not allowed to marry other people's wives? Yeah, it says v'dovak be'ishtoi should cling to his wife and not to his friend's wife. Oh, so that applies to Yidden also. Interesting. So in other words, once the husband is dead, you don't have the severe Isser, and maybe you still have the remnants of what? Of just, although he's dead, maybe she's still called your wife's friend, your dead friend's wife, still not allowed. And only Kohen Gadol has a real love, and other people have like a watered down version of Kilu, it's like an assay. The Ritva says both things are Divrei Havai. The Ritva says, Matrashi and Tosfos, that these are nonsense. And he says, no, there's no assay. All the Torah means to say is there's like remnants of the first Isser. It's like the same Isser there was when he was alive, but in a lesser form. But it's not mamish an assay. It's just a form of speech. In any event, frek the Gemara now, hi assay my avidite. Says the Gemara, I don't get it. What kind of watered down version you have over here? Make up your mind, please. I don't get that, says the Gemara. If the death of the husband helped her what? Was functional for her to become allowed. She should be completely allowed. Is the death, how can death do something halfway? What kind of idea is that? If the death marked the end of the story, she should be completely mutar. Lav asay, v'dovak shmavak. What's the thing? Yeah, and if the death of the husband did not help her, was not functional for her, then again, then what? She should be complete Eshesish, and he should be Chayav Kores and Chenek and everything for being with her. What kind of, where else did you find in the Torah that there was a love and then something happened and he like became softer, watered down version? I don't accept it, and therefore I believe in black and white, says the Makshan, and back to square one. The Kohen Gadol cannot marry the Almona, meaning other people can, and they may, and finished, leave me alone. The Kohen Gadol, no, there's a love. Other people who happen not to be Kohen Gadol, they don't have the love, and it's completely mutar. I don't believe in being a little bit pregnant, either mutar or osir. That's what the Gemara claims. Frek the Gemara on that. No, that's not true. Alama loy. Why not? Who told you? I believe in halfways, and I'm going to prove it to you. There are gray areas in halacha. Some isurim are becoming gradually more mutter, but not completely mutter, and I'll prove it to you. Apikta mimisa, maybe the death of the husband got her out of oynish misa, which means if she, as an almana, has relations with another guy, she will not be chayiv misa. She'll not be chayiv chenek, neither her or her new friend. V'ukimta alasei, and now she becomes like an iser aseh, not iser. She's over an aseh. You're asking me, where did we find such a concept? I'll show it to you. Midi, similarly, the hava apsule hamukdoshim. Oh, we're comparing it to another area in Kochim called psula mukdoshim. What's psula mukdoshim? Let's say a person designated was makdish a sheep, whatever, sheep, cow. Was makdish a sheep, the sheep was nice. It's important to know the order of things. It was makdish the sheep was no blemish, like your most beautiful esrog in Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot, yeah, which you davened for on Rosh Hashanah. And what beautiful, no blemish, no mum, nice. Eventually, all of a sudden, there's a mum, yeah, a mum that is not a mum oiver, it's a mum kavua. It has some funny thing in the eye. What happens now? Now that animal, you can't bring it to Beis Hamikdash. Is the animal not Kodesh at all? It's not Kodesh, right? Because it's Baal Mum. No. It's Kodesh. You can't bring it to the Mizbeach, obviously, so the Oraisa, but the animal is still Kodesh. Now, that animal, not only Kodesh, if you use the animal, let's say you shear it, or you use it, you shecht it and eat it, you do whatever you want, let's say by mistake even, what is it? Me'ila, you chayiv me'ila, severe, Doraisa, Isra Doraisa. Any usage of the animal, even with the mum, is an Isra Doraisa, severe. We have to remember severe versus light Isra, yeah? There's a real Isra here, and if you did anything, what are you going to do? Oshom Milos. You have to pay Beis Hamikdash the worth, the value, plus fifth time over, which is really fourth, and you have to bring a big fat ram aisle to Beis Hamikdash. What happened? So what do you do with this animal? You redeem it. You redeem. Take cash, yeah, take money, or another animal. I'm not going out to all these stories, yeah. Lamaisa, take, let's say, money, and be pointed the kedusha of the animal, remove the kedusha from the animal, the kedusha goes, now the animal is chulin. Sorry. Even after the kedusha was removed, yeah, even after the kedusha was removed, you're still limited with what you're allowed to do. It's not all or nothing. You're only allowed to eat it. You're not allowed to shear it. You're not allowed to actually milk it even. You're only allowed to zavachta v'ochalta. You can't give it to your dog. Maybe there are other things. I'm not so proficient in it, I admit. But there is a pasuk that says zavachta v'ochalta. You eat it. Zavachta v'logisa v'chalzeh. You're not allowed to do whatever you want. Oh, so here you see the same concept. Look what the Gemara says. The meikara is behu meila, right? V'asir begiza v'avoida, right? In other words, at the beginning, if you did anything with the animal, you chayiv meila, and you have to bring plus fifth and a whole korban. And of course, you're not allowed to shear it, giza, and work with it. Let's say it's a cow, you can't plow with it in the field. Perkinu, mazel tov, you released it from kedusha, you redeemed the kedusha, you removed the kedusha. Meila leis behu, meila is removed, and if you did anything, you're not chayiv korban meila. That's good. Not chayiv korban if you did anything. But begizav avoida asiri, there's still prohibition of gizav avoida. There's still the prohibition of gizav avoida. You're still not allowed. There's still a little bit kadosh. So don't compare it to. I'm saying my comparison. People say I can't be a little bit pregnant. You either are or you're not. No, there is a little bit. You see that those kedusha. It's actually a very, very good example because many times you compare the woman's kiddushin to hekdesh, right? Here too, you see by hekdesh, it's gradual. The whole thing was part of the kedusha was removed, but part still stays. I still can't do with it whatever I want. So maybe the same thing with the woman. At the beginning, when she was really, really married, and he was alive, her husband, and hopefully he was not kicking, he was alive. And what? And then there was real Issa Doraisa with Chiyuv Misa. Once he's dead, there's a watered down version of an assay. Maybe. How do you know? Ella, we're coming towards the end. Idomar Kro. It says about people who go to war. Unfortunately relevant. Who shouldn't go to war? The people who are Shana Rishona. People are Shana Rishona to the marriage. What about them? They, what? Also, there are many others, rather 4 people. Now we're focusing only about the one that are newlywed. And what does it say? Oh, it says if he dies in the war, yeah, he'll be scared to die in the war because why? Other men would take her he says, "Oh, I can't die." He's going to be scared. I can't die because if he dies, other men will marry her. Oh, so you see, another man can marry the almana. You see that outright. Maskif lo shisha Davidi. It's almost over and not yet over. What? Yes, but he engaged her. She's neshetish. Yes, she's neshetish. And also the other one only stays in the back in the orif. That doesn't go up front. The one in Shona Shona. Yeah. In any event, it's a good horror, but you're right. Maskef lo shisha Davidi. Ema man acher yovom. Wait. Maybe the other person that the Torah says, beware you, Mr. Soldier, don't go to war because maybe another man will take her. Maybe that other man is the Yovam, your brother. Maybe that's a threat. Everybody knows that Yovam can take Yavama. Maybe the Torah talks about a childless person. He's in Tzahal, 21 years old, yeah, just married, no children. The Torah says, if you go to war, don't, yeah, it's going to be a whole mess because another man will take her. You know the other man, the Yovam. Everyone knows the Yovam takes her, but maybe an Echanami, 99.9 of other men cannot take her. And still back to square one, maybe an Almana cannot marry. Amav Ashi, Shtei Chuvas Badovo. There are two answers. Chada, the Yovam lo ikri acher. First of all, a Yovam is not called the other. The Yovam is his brother. The Yovam is his brother. The Torah wouldn't call someone's brother the other. Now, the Rishonim, Tosis and Ritva ask that sometimes Yovam is called other. The Ritva here says the Pshat is psychology. The Torah wants to scare you off, lahafchidoi, says the Ritva. Don't go to war because this may happen. She talks about the other man. You know what's going to happen? If you go to war, yeah, then your friend, your neighbor, can you imagine them being with your wife? No, unthinkable. And you don't have children yet. But if he talks about, even with or without in this case, but if the Torah says, if you're going to die, the brother will take her, you wouldn't mind so much because why? That's Shomer Shem, Makim Shem Lochiv. It's not such a threat. If I die, good. I want to fight, kill all the Gaza people right now. And if I die without children, good. There will be Yibum. It's not such a threatening thing. The oid. And therefore what? And therefore, this is, by the way, guys, the final answer. One of the two final answers. That's the source. Ish acher yikachena means what? The Torah says another man foreign to you will marry her. For a boy's side, that's source number one, that an almana can marry whoever she wants. Second source, the oid. See, it says about the get, the because of L'Sefer Krisus, it says what happens with a woman who got divorced from Reuven. She went to Shimon and she divorced Shimon. Then Reuven can't marry anymore. Or it says either Shimon, the second husband, either she divorces him or he dies, right? And then what? The first one can't marry her. The itkash misa le gerushin. Look, it says the two are, how do you say it in nice art scrollies, juxtaposed. You see that gerushin and misa are mentioned very close together. Oh, hekesh ma gerushin sharia begomeres af misa sharia begomeres. Very nice. Which means the fact is just like get. Get, we know clearly before Shana Torah, krisus, complete cutoff, no connection to the divorced guy. So to Misa, no connection whatsoever to the first husband, no assay, no nothing. Rashi asks the question, we could have learned it from the Isser of not that a man whose wife married another man, his divorcee, his ex, married the second man, and the second man either died or got divorced, then the first husband can't remarry her. Maybe that could be a good source. He's not allowed to remarry her, but others are. So Rashi says the same answer. I could have said that's love and that's an assay. He has a love, and the other people also have an Israel like a Kohen Gadol. That's not a good answer. Yeah, you can see Rashi at the end. It's not that better than Kohen Gadol. Just because somebody has a love to marry an almana doesn't mean that other people are allowed. Maybe they're half. They're only an assay. But so what are the two sources, Lamaskana? Let's stay with something else. Go to your wives and ask them trivia question over the Shabbos table. How do you know that if I die, you can marry other people? Yeah, so she'll tell you, of course it makes sense. You say, no, it does make sense. The sources are two sources. Source number one, it says if somebody goes to war, then his wife can marry what? There's a chashash. The wife will fall into the hands of another husband. Oh, so the other husbands are allowed, and it's an acher, a different person. And the other thing is it's a hekesh from get to misa. Just like get is complete cutoff, so to misa is complete cutoff. But we only know simcha, no death, no divorce, only Mashiach coming very, very, very soon. and the war will be won, the Milchemes Yetzer, Milchemes Ha'aza, and may we all be happy. Thank you so much to everybody who came here, everybody on the phone, everybody on the Zoom, and everybody on Torah Anytime and YouTube. Hatzlocha Brocha. See you on Sunday with Daf Yudalid Amud Aleph Be'ezras Hashem. Hatzlocha Uvrocha. Thank you.